Hey there, Web290. I just wanted to get this out as a video because I thought it would be easier to deal with than a whole big block of text. But I will, underneath this, have the big bullet points in text of what it is that we'll do to make reparations essentially on the Beaver Builder training for the course. So long story short, thank you again, Patrick, for number one, noticing so quick, and number two, allowing yourself to be a guinea pig for what it is we can do to recover from this. So essentially what happens is Beaver Builder is still being used in the wider world of WordPress. It is one of the three big shortcuts that people use to edit down the content for the pages that they need. Beaver Builder, Elementor, and really the newest version is related to Gutenberg, which is supposed to be the kind of equifying. It's supposed to be the equalizer among all of the different templates and themes and everything else. It's supposed to level the playing field so that small companies don't feel as though they have to go out and spend big time money on templates. And really, if you look at what the whole class revolves around, the WordPress training is the free training for WordPress. Beaver Builder, you don't pay for. The themes in there, the theme actually that's killed our Beaver Builder training is called Tesseract, which was free for, it's freemium essentially, but it would have been free for what we needed it to do. And then moving on past that, we have Elementor, which is still in part of the training that we'll talk about here in just a second. So at any rate, the long and short of it is, here's the long of it. When I was going through and vetting the links, all of those did work. All of the videos did work. All of the management and setup for your sites did work. And I just never thought to go through and make sure that the template was still available. I had thought to myself something along the lines of, there are 260-ish thousand sites using the Tesseract theme or something close to it. And there's no real reason for anybody to take that theme down off of WordPress. And then lo and behold, somebody took it down off of WordPress. And not only that, but we can't go back and find some of the older versions of it that would have worked, which is kind of the danger in using a free but proprietary, it's not a piece of software necessarily, but it is a plugin. So what we'll do to get around that is as follows. Number one, you'll still do the WordPress.com training. There's a lot of stuff built into the training that I cannot simulate with you as part of the management for how it was that we set up your sites. What I cannot do is extend to you the opportunity to create your own domains. So, bbuilder.firstinit.lastname.rvccis.org. We have to build that domain around it, which is not very complicated. I will admit to you that that is true. And there are videos there for you on exactly what I did to be able to set those sites up for you. But I can't extend to you the admin privileges to be able to do that. So you don't get to do that. And the WordPress trainings show you what you can do with just the freebie, which is pretty fantastic. And moving on from there, what we'll do is we'll squint away the Beaver Builder stuff. I will add another module as soon as I am done editing this and putting it out there for you. I will add another module called WordPress 2021. And you can essentially just use the Beaver Builder domain and the site that I set up for you and just do the 2021 WordPress training. And that'll be just fine. We don't have to set up another one for you. There's 3 of us involved in the class, and I have every indication from working with the both of you that that's a small consideration that you'll be able to get away with. Like, okay, I just do the 2021 in here, I call it Beaver Builder, and everybody's good. I will, like I said, though, put another module together for that. So what I would do is the following. Number 1, the WordPress.com training. Number 2, go to the Elementor training. That one is largely still good. You will notice on the Elementor page, there is the one small change that they've done. In the Elementor training, the package, I believe it was called Brain Fuse is the name of the developer there, but the package was called Astra. And on WordPress, it's still called Astra, but in the WordPress plugins, it's called something a little bit different. So if you do the search the way that Tyler does in the Tyler.com trainings, it will return to you if you look for Astra. I forget what it's called, Astra Beginning Sites or Astra some beginners template, something to that effect. You will actually get the Brain Fuse new product. It just doesn't say that it's the same thing as the Astra template. So right above the trainings, on the very top of the very first page there, that's where you come across that video anyway. I have 2 things for you. I have a text description of exactly that previous paragraph here. They changed the name. 2, I have a link for you for the plugin that you'll need. And 3, I actually found the link for you for the one that's still called Astra, which you just have to get not via the search. You have to get it through the plugins page instead. It's a little different, but it's essentially the same. And completing that training, the rest of the training, I went through it last night. There are very, very small tweaks, which invariably happens because every time WordPress, changes a security rule, which is something that they have to do pretty often, it ends up changing the way that some of these templates have to interact. And the differences are minor. But if you find that my interpretation of a minor difference is different than your interpretation of a minor difference, please just text me and let me know what it is that you're going through, and I will help walk you through it right in line there. So don't be afraid to reach out about that. So that one, we don't have to change any. Everything still works. The Elementor package you see there still works with its Wilderness something. I think it's Wilderness Experience is the name of the template that you have there. Then for, continuing on with that, in place again of the Beaver Builder tutorial, there is another 2021. Actually, it's brand new. When I was going through and checking the links, the training was not available yet. There is a brand new 2021 WordPress with I'll call it newer considerations there. The project will look very, very similar to what you see in the Elementor training. But what I'll tell you is I am way happier with the way the 2021 training comes out, because some of the issues that people have with WordPress are really being addressed now with the idea of the Project Gutenberg, the equalization of what can be done for free with WordPress. So there's a bunch of plugins that Tyler goes over in the training for, like, backing up your WordPress site. I'll tell you, when I work with, our community partners, people who call Rock Valley College and say, hey, you guys have a web degree, help me with my web stuff. And invariably we'll try and match a student to these. So as a matter of fact, you two are going to be on the top of my list for these experiences, whether or not you want to be, as those become available moving forward. But invariably, the first issue I encounter when we're working with our community partners is we tried to change something on our site and it broke everything. That's part of the problem with free software is you can't get everything. Until now, there's package management in there. There's backup management in the 2021 trainings. There is some of my pet peeves with WordPress have actually been addressed. I had bailed, not for everything. In working with clients, I always try to move them, if they have any experience with the web, towards WordPress. But for the sites I manage for us here at Rock Valley, I've actually started to use Squarespace because for every moment that I take to try and, fix a 15 pixel gutter between two elements in a web page, that's time I'm essentially donating away, and I don't need to do that anymore. So I use Squarespace because I can just drag the damn lip of the thing up and boom, that gutter goes away. Baked into the training here, you can see the new management tools that are available, again, via Elementor, which is extended because of Gutenberg into what it is that you can do in WordPress. And it's fantastic. So instead of having, and both of you probably remember from Web 101 and Web 102, you will have had those issues here and there, right? Where you've got two images that you needed to display on top of one another, for instance, in a mobile version of a web page that you were putting together. And because of, a margin or a padding decision that you had made previously under a different media query, the distance between your two classes just wasn't quite right. And that's something that is exacerbated in older versions of WordPress because it's baked into the code in a way that potentially you as a developer could not have changed. But now you just go into margins and boom, you change that. So I know for Patrick, this is a rerun. And I'm going to start this paragraph by saying, again, I apologize that change slipped my notice. But I'll tell you the honest to button's truth. I kind of like the way that this turned out because you see such good stuff in that 2021 training that never would have been a parcel of this. And, sometimes mistake is a really great tool for progress. So that's what we'll do moving forward here. Number one, you'll complete still the WordPress.com training. Number two, you'll complete the Elementor training. 3, you'll complete the new 2021 Elementor and BrainFuse training, which is similar but different in, again, exciting, I think, ways. And you also have for our final week, it's actually for the final 11 days of the class, you'll be building your own site. Towards the end of this week, I was going to start reaching out to you both about what it was you wanted to do for your final project. This is not one of those things where I want to tell you what you have to do, but I want to work with you on what it is that you're going to provide. So start thinking now about a project you would like to do, whatever that means. For the most part, I'm going to be good with. So what would you like to do in the way of something that you can provide either as a portfolio item for an employer down the road or something that you'll actually end up potentially using for you, whatever that might mean. So those are the changes here afoot. 290. Again, I'm sorry, but again, it worked out. Patrick, I'm really sorry we wasted some of your time on that. I know it stinks to get, like 11 of 33 trainings through and realize that it didn't work anymore, and I'm really sorry about that. But I'm really pleased with not the waste of your time, but where the road will end up. We will move your your application of WordPress far further than we would have before. And I think that there's reason for that to be, an acceptable trade-off. So I know this video is long. I know that changes a little bit about the structure of our Eagle page. I know that I'm going to have to catch that up over the next day here. But if you have any questions, just message me or text me, and I'll be happy to make better this dribble in a way, hopefully, that makes more sense. So WordPress.com training stays the same. Elementor training stays the same. Final Project stays the same. The Beaver Builder training will now be the WordPress 2021 training. So that's enough to do over the next 21 days here. So let's have at it, 290.